Caitlin, that's right. The protest started at 4 this afternoon, and it was peaceful as different people were talking until about 5:15 when folks started to walk down King Street. That's when police almost immediately appeared right on King Street and told them that they needed to get out of the road. They were walking down the middle of the road, and that's when police basically told them to disperse. After that, we saw multiple different groups of people scattering. I did see a couple people handcuffed. They were on the ground and they were handcuffed. And then we arrived right here. This is at the corner of Archdale Street and Queen Street. That's when police barricaded people in a pretty small distance, probably about the space of one of these houses or apartments right here. And that's when first they grouped them up. It did sound like police were calling for vans and detention vans. But then after that, we saw them start releasing people by groups of 5. And they did let them start walking again in groups of 5. I did overhear them saying it sounded like they were telling people to go back to their cars and leave immediately. Just in the last few seconds, Caitlin, the police also loaded up in different vans right behind me. I don't know if you could catch that when y'all first started, but just in the last few seconds, that's right when all the police left, and it's pretty quiet now, actually. That just happened really fast.
In your live shots over Facebook, and it seemed like the crowd was pretty large. Can you give us an idea of just how many people were out there earlier?
Yeah, Caitlin, so when we were in Marion Square where it started, it looked like about 100 people, and that's about the same size of people that started walking down King Street. But almost as soon as the police appeared and started to tell them to disassemble, it looked like people started scattering, especially when there started to be arrests made. That's definitely when people started scattering. I did hear police tell them to stay on the sidewalk, and I think at that point is when we lost a good bit of the crowd. But once they were detained right here at Queen Street and Archdale Street, that was only probably about 50 people, and it did look like every single one of those people were allowed to leave in groups of 5, at least from what I saw, Caitlin.
And Summer, one more question for you. I know this protest was supposed to wrap up at Hampton Park. Any word on if those protesters are still heading to that location?
Caitlin, from what it sounded like from police, they were telling people to go to their cars and leave immediately. Now, I didn't hear any protesters say whether they were going to Hampton Park. I did hear one man that had a megaphone that seemed to kind of be leading the group. I did hear him telling people to comply and just to go ahead and leave this area. Now, it wasn't clear where they were, but they definitely scattered about. So no word on if it is still continuing at all or if they went to Hampton Park, Caitlin.
Live from